and check to make sure the sound is working. Is the sound is working. All right, good. So, all right, this is CNIT 140. The name doesn't tell you much of anything about the class. I didn't choose it, but my internet connection is unstable. Oh, all right, let me change back to the City College Wi-Fi for the moment. I'm going to lose my connection for a minute. I'll need that later. We'll see how it goes. Okay, now supposedly I'm connected to something. Let's try ping google.com. Okay. Supposedly I still have people. Okay, so apparently you survived my switching to a different network. All right. Theoretically, remote viewers can see what's going on here. All right, let me get rid of this stuff. I got junk on my screen. Quit without saving. All right. So I'm going to tell you what's going on with this course. Oh, and I have a handout. I'm required to have a handout, and supposedly I have one. I do. All right, life is good. Okay. All right. So this class is not a beginning class. The intention here, you should have taken a security class before. This semester, it might be all right if you've only taken 120. The original intention is this is only appropriate if you've already taken 123, ethical hacking. If you haven't taken any security courses, you really shouldn't be here. You should go take those other courses first, like 106 and 120 and 123, that cover the basics of networking, security, and attack. The point of this course is by participating in competitions. We are in a lot of contests, and we're doing very well. Stuart's in the back there. He's the captain of our CCDC team, and they just won #1 in the whole nation, in the whole Western region. We beat Stanford, we beat Berkeley, we beat Cal Poly Pomona, so we're doing very well. And so there are a lot of other contests, and the point of this class is to help prepare you to compete in those contests. So, unfortunately, the official college-oriented competitions do not happen this semester. CCDC happening this semester, but the only event is 1 week from today, and all the participants had to be put in a roster last year, so nobody new can join. It's really just finishing the contest that started last semester. So for you people, it's kind of irrelevant. So you can't really participate in CCDC this semester. And CPGC, those are the two main ones, doesn't happen until around November. It's also not happening this semester. So we're going to have to do a different kind of competition than one that is directly aimed at colleges. However, there is a third one, which is probably even better, aimed at colleges, which is NCL, the National Cyber League. This one actually has multiple levels, and there's one level that is just Security Plus level. And there's another one that's supposedly Certified Ethical Hacker level, which is 123. And so that might be very good. I've never done it before. One of my students did it maybe 5 years ago in an early version, and it seemed pretty lame. It's a lot better since then. There's going to be a call in 2 days where they will supposedly tell you what's going on. I went to the website to try to see what it would do, and nothing works. They have a bunch of links that go to pages that aren't there. So I don't really know what's available. It has hands-on activities, has cyber gymnasium and such. So it does cost $25 to do, but I highly recommend it for people who are not feeling very secure. So let me just do a little survey. How many people have taken 120? Not very. How many people have taken 123? Yeah, okay. All right. If you, so that's what I kind of thought. What you could do, I think a lot of you might be really happy to do NCL, and it would be a good thing to do. It might be at the right level. I'll know more next week, and be prepared to pay $25 to do it. I think that's not too much. There's no textbook. It should be like you feel it's a person textbook. Anyway, I'm going to recommend that to most students. However, if you want to get into real competitions, there are a lot of them. And if you want to attend remotely, that's fine. That's why I'm streaming now. I'm always going to stream every class. And you can totally work from a remote location. What's that? Oh, somebody in chat. Thank you. Let's see what the chat is saying. I took 123. Good, good. Glad to hear it. Hey, Daniel, I use a lot of stuff. Good. All right. Good. So, all right. So there's no book. We're going to use online tutorials and CTFs. Here's the schedule. Now, I'm just going to explain how this works. And then
the constructors run once. Render function is
you have to come to class and do something to move forward. Or prove that you've done them outside class.
What you do
I'm
is
going to probably set up an email account and let people email and screenshots.
the render function.
But I think you probably want to come to class and do it here and talk to others or else. You will find people usually work in teams.
Render.
And how many of you have done Pico CTF problems?
Yeah.
Only a couple. Okay. Well, if you haven't, then you must not have taken a lot of these from me, but that's fine. Then that's the place to start. That's why I thought if you haven't done this yet, you should do 4 Pico CTF challenges by next week. And I'll probably just continue doing a bunch of Pico CTF challenges every week, maybe for the whole semester.
Yeah, there's a
if SQL thing works, we'll start doing that. If the SQL doesn't seem so good, we'll just stick on Pico CTF. Pico CTF is a training
City College of San Francisco
it's free.
Instructor.
It is very good. And I'll show you some of it a little later. I've been doing one today. I haven't done them all myself. They get good and hard, some of these. The good thing about it is there's like 50 challenges. So there's dozens of them that are easy, and then intermediate, and then there's hard ones that are really hard. So you won't get bored. And so that would be enough. If you prepare those things, we're ready for real CTF. Anyway, that's practice. Other than that, you can do, here's other practice sites. Pico CTF is the closest to normal CTFs that really happen, capture the flag competitions put up by non-college companies. Bandit is specifically learning obscure Linux commands. So if you want to be really good at command line Linux, that's what Bandit is. InfoSec Institute, another one, kind of like Pico CTF. Clonable.kr is a Korean one that is kind of fun, but it is very much binary exploitation. So if you have not already taken 127, or if you're not taking 127 this semester, learning how to exploit binary memory corruptions, this will probably be kind of impossible. It's all C, details of C, memory allocation, memory corruption, which is pretty interesting, but only if you're into the 127 stuff, which is fairly advanced, beyond 123, into the assembly code and the memory maps. And then there's WeChal, which is a big bucket with many, many kinds of challenges on. So any of these would do for practice, but if you don't know what to do, I would just stick with Pico. Pico CTF is very good, and it's enough there for the whole semester or half the semester anyway. And you can participate in real competitions, and if you do, they're all worth extra credit. CCDC is happening this Saturday, but you can't get in if you're not already in. Here's other ones that are real. Now, the thing about competitions is all these originally came from the DEF CON CTF. The DEF CON CTF is a real head-to-head competition of 100 people in Las Vegas, 10 people on 10 teams, really attacking real other servers. Each one has a bunch of servers, and they're trying to bring down the other people's servers, and they're inventing new exploits on the top, and it is super elite and impenetrable, and there is no hope of any of us ever getting there. I can't get there. Nobody can get there. I can't even pass the qualifiers to get there. It is insanely difficult. Unless you have years of experience full-time at an antivirus company or something like that, you are not even in the run. So the qualifiers, the purpose of these free online CTFs is primarily to qualify to go to DEF CON. So most of them in the last 5 years have also become insanely, impossibly difficult, to where you'll spend 2 whole days and not even understand one question. So it's kind of sick. So a lot of CTFs are just way too hard. And that's what I mentioned. I want Constrief is hard, the Hogate is hard, Kazi is hard. Unless you are pretty advanced, you might try a few of these, but you probably won't find there's very much you can do. You might be able to solve 1 or 2 of the easy ones. You might very well just not even be able to do anything. But there are some easy ones, like this one come out in February, Easy CTF. This one is intended for high school students, and it is very good. We've done it every year. It's a lot of fun. It's like Pico CTF. A lot of them are easy, and some of them are hard, and some of them are very hard. So it's not a waste of your time at all, and it is achievable. It's not going to be frustrating to where you just want to give up. So this one's worth doing, and I like the easy ones. The easy ones in particular, any of you could do, and we could form teams and compete, and it would be good. Here's another one, Angstrom CTF from a high school in Maryland. That should be reasonably doable. And here's another one from Virginia coming up in March. So we can participate in those real ones, and we can participate in the National Cyber League, about which I'll know a lot more next class. So there's a lot of real competitions to participate in. That is the best thing to do if you can, because it really helps you apply for jobs. You can brag that you really want a real competition. And but if you just want to do the practice stuff, that's an option too, and Pico CTF is probably the best there. I'm going to grade everybody every week when I have further grading. We bring up the Let's get rid of this out of here. Oh, there's another chat. Okay. Someone has their mic on. Oh, someone has their mic on. Okay. I don't hear any. Let's see if I can figure out how to turn it off. Thank you. Mute all. There we go. Thank you for telling me. That happens a lot. People turn their mic on and not their speakers, and so you're hearing their dog barking or something. All right. So let me get to the grading sheet, which I handed out, which is somewhere on this mess. There it is, the first day handout. All right, grading policy. All right, so here's how it works. Okay, there are going to be 12 grading practice sessions. These, I want you to show that you've made some progress. Like the next one is next week. I want you to show that you've done 4 Pico CTF problems. And if you have, you get your points for that. 20 points every week. That's your hands-on homework. Instead of giving you specific homework to do, I give you general things you can meet your own level. I don't tell you which 4 to do. If you're a beginner, you can do the first 4 that are easy. If those are boring, move up to ones that are at the right difficulty level for whatever you're at. And I'll probably just keep on doing something like that, another 4 every week. We'll see how it goes. Then there are real competitions. You should participate in some real competitions. You do not have to succeed. You have to do something, give it a good try. So there are 3 easy competitions, and you should be able to solve at least one in those. And so those are worth 30 points each if you solve at least one puzzle. And so if you do 2 of them, you'll get 60 points. And that's the total of your grade. And if you do anything more, you'll get more points. I'm going to ask you to do a couple of write-ups of puzzles or in-class demonstrations of puzzles after you solve a few. Both of those are real important because it's important not only to solve things, but it's important to be able to communicate about how you solve them. And by the way, another thing about Pico CTF is Pico CTF has been around for about a year, so all the answers are available online. If you Google, somebody has written a blog telling you how to solve it, so if you get stuck, you'll be able to find answers. And that's not bad. That's why it's practice. The real competitions, of course, make an effort to have puzzles where you can't look up the answer. But the old puzzles, for practice, of course, answers are around. So it's not intended to be baffling, make you feel bad if you don't know how to do it. There are ways to find out how to do it. And learning how to find these things online is another good thing. So that's why I think most people want to practice in class where they can get help from other students. And for me, I can go around and help people do it. So I don't think we're going to keep meeting here. I think from now on, especially seeing that we have reasonable sized class, we should just meet up in the lab, which is Science 214 and Science 215 next to it. I think starting now I can see that's the right thing to do. For now, we'll just meet up there. There is the ability to project up there and demonstrate things, but the main thing we'll be doing is working on the machines. And you'll probably find it best to form little groups of people that are at a similar level. But I'll try and arrange that next week when I can see what 4 puzzles you solved. So let me show you what I mean about Pico CTF, because perhaps not everybody has seen it. So Pico CTF is on this one. You go to samsclass.info. By the way, I shouldn't assume you. Here's my website. This is where everything the class comes from. You go down to 140 and click on that. And then go down to the practice sites and just go to the first one, Pico CTF. You have to make an account. You can just register here. It's all free. I've already registered, so I'm going to log in. And there you are. And that it'll eventually let me in. Presumably it is letting me in. All right. So I'm in. All right. So what happens is there are levels. There's also sort of a game part where you're walking around, but you can turn that off, and that's all I did. Anyway, here's the first level, and I've solved all these. When you solve them, they'll turn green. So these are little puzzles. When you click on one of these things, you will see a puzzle. So let's go, say here's cryptography. You click on this thing. Well, web shells are nice. It's nice to log in directly. So add your own public key to authorized keys. You can do an SSH to their server, and you have to do that with the correct SSH key authentication, which is a normal thing. You have to do the same thing to control Amazon virtual machines. But if you've never done it, you should learn how to do it, and that's the challenge here. I use SSH authentication to get there. So that's, and they have hints, I think, to point you to a page that tells you how to do it. Here's one that shows how to do it. It's in my homework, I think, in 120 and 123. But anyway, that's, if you haven't done it, it's a good thing to do. Learn how to make an SSH connection to their server. And so on. There's various things to do here. Here's binary exploitation. We found a program that is hiding a flag. You probably have an easy way to try all the numbers, guess the number it is thinking of. So go to this address and try it out. You might have to do that in the SSH shell. Let's see, I think you can do it here. By the way, if you don't want to connect over SSH, you can use this graphical environment to connect. There we are. Enter your password. I've forgotten how to do this. I think somewhere you get a password, and it's in the help menu I skipped over. Anybody remember how to get the password? Yeah, maybe I got anybody here that remembers how to do this junk. Anyway, I'm not going to go to that one because I want to show you the one I was doing today, which is good, clean fun. This is what I spent my afternoon doing. No eyes here. This is a level 3 one. Like I say, they get more interesting at the higher levels. And this one here is a website. So let's go there. I think City College, yeah, City College is going to block it. Okay, I'm going to have to go back through my iPad, so your remote viewers may experience an interruption in connectivity. I'm going to turn this off. And okay, good. I'm back here. Okay. There. Okay, I'm connected. It's more or less. That's pretty horrible. These guys, I said participants, hopefully you can hear me. And let's see if I can mute them again. It may have forgotten to do that. All right. I hope you people can see me. I seem to have an acceptable internet connection again. And this is escaping the stinking City College filtering, which is, I don't want to do that, which is blocking everything. So here's the form of login. This is the challenge. So they say login. So if I put in A and B, it says user not found. So you're supposed to log in. Well, you might wonder what to do. The first thing I always think of is SQL injection for my very first move. And as you remember, the most classic SQL injection is apostrophe or 1 = 1 dash dash. You should have seen that in 123. If not, then you can check it out. The point of this will usually get you in. This is the classic one that will get you in any website if it is vulnerable to SQL injection, if it's using, I think, the Microsoft syntax. And notice here, it appears to have login functionality not complete, which means you can't really log in, which means it accepted my name and password as valid. And now it tells me flag is 63 characters. Now, I know what's going on. It's blind SQL injection. I can tell that from the name of the puzzle, which is like no-see-em or something. And also, I can tell from this. Notice how I don't see a username or a password or anything in the output. But I do get, so here's what I found before. I was working on this one, and I managed to figure out enough of how it's going to go. I just haven't quite figured out how to automate it yet. So, looks like I cannot find my notes. Let me make one more attempt to find my notes. And then I'm going to have to go without my notes. 140, S18. I tried to save notes somewhere, but is it here? It is here. Okay, good. All right. So, all right. This is how you do SQL injection and cross-site scripting. In my recommendation, we keep a notepad file, a text file open, because you have to inject funny-looking things. And you have to keep changing them. So what I found here was, here's where I started. The apostrophe or 1 = 1 dash dash, that returns login functionality not complete. Now, let's try this one, login or 1 = 1. Now, I should mention the reason why this works, in case you don't know. Let's put in apostrophe here and here. and let it crash. And now, see, this one is because it's a CTF. They try to make it easier. They show you what's going on. Select star from users where user equals a quote. Then the fact that it's 3 quotes makes it crash because the quotes are unmatched, and that's the error. But here's the thing to notice. No matter what you put in, it never tells you your username or your password. So you do not get to see any of the data from the table at all. And it doesn't even give you the error message. It just says there was an error. This is the situation which is recommended by security experts. You should not allow the user to have extra information. This is what's called blind SQL injection, where you can't see what you're doing. I'm able to inject bad data and cause it to crash, but it doesn't give me much in the way of useful information. However, it gives me enough useful information because here it told me there was an error. But if I do this, apostrophe or 1 equals 1, then I don't get an error. You remember, I got a message saying login functionality not implemented. So it does not always give you exactly the same response. An error causes a different response than valid input, and that's all you need. Now all you have to do is construct input that gives you, where you can ask a yes or no question. You may remember this game of 20 questions. Is it bigger than a bread box? Is it animal, vegetable, or mineral? You ask binary questions and you narrow down the answer. So what I found was this. The reason why this, or 1 equals 1 works is, let me go back to this one to show it to you. I'll put in the apostrophes. This is the command. Select star from users where user equals. Now notice, this is actually important information. They did not tell me the data in the field, but they told me the name of the table. The table is named users, and they told me the name of the field. The field is user. So that's good stuff. Now, this is the command. Select star from users where user equals quote, quote. Now, if the username is Sam, let's go down here and try a couple of these just to explain to you what's going on. If I put in Sam for the username, it'll be looking for username Sam. So let's try that. Sam. And for the password, I'm going to put in this magic string that will always make the password work. And it's going to tell me user not found. This is, by the way, another thing security experts will tell you not to do. If there's a problem, just say login denied. Don't tell them username bad or password bad, because that helps the hackers zero down on it. But they did. So the password was okay, but the user was bad. Or to be more precise, probably it checked for the user and then it didn't bother to check for the password because the user wasn't there. So here's what's going on. So now what I do, instead of putting Sam in there, is I put in a string like this. Here's this one. Let's put in this one. That or 1 equals 1 dash dash. This is what happens when you inject that username. Because the username includes punctuation marks, it is misunderstood by the server as a mixture of data and commands. So the server interprets this as the condition where user equals blank or 1 equals 1, and the dash dash begins a comment, so the rest of the line is ignored. So now it's either user is empty or 1 equals 1. And 1 equals 1 is always true, so something or true is always true, so this will always pass the condition. And the condition will typically let you log in. So that gave me this response, login functionality not complete. So the thing to try is this. Try or 1 equals 2. Have a false statement over there. And see what that does. And put the same true statement down here. So you try to make one change at a time. And when you do that, you get a different message, user not found. So now, I can now ask questions. Although it's better to use an and here than an or to be precise. But I can, it'll work this way. Now I can put a question here. If this condition is true, I'll get login functionality disabled. If this condition is false, I'll get user not found. So now I can ask a question. For example, I can ask a question like, what is the password? Now here's what I did. At this point, I sort of wandered off trying fancy stuff that didn't work. Then I went back to just trying things here, like root. So I said, I wonder if you can just guess this stuff. User not found. But I tried admin and like X, and now it tells me the incorrect password. So admin is the right username. So that's handy. Now I don't really need this, but it does make it a little easier to move forward. So now let's try this, admin and 1 equals 1 dash dash. So username equals admin, and then I need the apostrophe. Okay, and 1 equals 1. And down here, I can just put X. So let me save this in the clipboard because you often have to modify it. Now that means I want to find records where username equals admin and 1 equals 1, and that's going to be true. So that should also give me incorrect password. And it does. But if I put admin and 1 equals 2, that should be false. And now it should give me a different error message, and it does, user not found. So now I'm in the trace where I can now be asked true or false questions and get to the answers. So here's the one I found that was pretty good, which was user, let me see if I can do it from memory, and user like a star. A % is the wild card in SQL. There. So, and I know the username is admin. So it is true that user equals admin. It is also true that user is like a %. It starts with A. So this should give me the true result. I put an X down here, and it does. The true result is incorrect password. Now, if I put user like B, I'm using single quotes, % dash dash, and I put that in the clipboard, which I forgot to do last time. Let me just save this down here. This is the easy one. Okay, that's one that works. All right. And down here, I want just an X there. Now, this first condition is true. User equals admin. The second condition is false. User like B %. So now I get user not found. So I can now ask questions. Now, remember, I found out the name of the password field was pass. I saw that someplace. I think I got that by putting admin here and an incorrect valid value here. Yeah, this is how I get the error message that shows me the name of the password field is pass. So now that I know that, I can make this one. If I want the admin password, I can find out if the password starts with A. Like that. There, that will tell me if the administrator password is A or not. And user was not found, which means the password does not start with A. So now I just need to write a script that will try all the characters to the first place and then the second place and trace it out. And I was having trouble getting a script working, so I can't demonstrate that. But this, I've cracked it essentially. I found a method. Now all I have to do is automate it. By the way, there are also tools I could use like SQL map that will do this programmatically. But I'd rather write my own in Python just for the practice. Anyway, this is a fun one, and you can do this. Once you solve the problem, make a brief presentation, briefer than that one, and show us how to do it, and that'll be fine. It's very good for you. You should do at least a couple of write-ups during the semester, either write-ups or verbal presentations. So are there any questions about anything? Does anybody need add codes? Well, that's a first. Yeah, you need one. All right, I can bring them later. All right, I ought to get a list of who's here. I think I don't need to bother with these forms. I think I'll just get a list. Let me see if I've got a pen somewhere. I don't really need a list of who's here today, but it's a good idea. The administrators here like to tell us like months later that we're supposed to keep track of things like this. So probably good to have a list. And especially the 127 class, which I'm having trouble getting added. It is helping that I have a list of people so I can see a bunch of people actually want to take it. So just put your name on there so I know you're here. And if you want to get a start on things, you could be solving problems tonight. If you rather wait till next week or do them at home and bring in the solutions next week, that's fine. But by next week, you should solve at least 4 Pico CTF problems. So they're very easy. The whole level 1 is very easy. You should be able to do them. I'm going to go over to the science lab as soon as I clean up here, like about 10 minutes. I'll be in Science 214. You can work there. We got computers. We got an internet you can connect to with your laptop, and you can make an account and start solving puzzles. And there's also a CCSF Hackers Club that meets at noon on Saturdays, and you can go there. And those people know how to do Pico CTF and other things. There's a Slack channel and email list and all that jazz. You want to talk about that?
Sure.
If you want to know about it, it might possibly change. Just go to the top of my page. At the top of my page, I try to keep the accurate information about that. So here's CCF Hackers, met noon on the 20th. It's not going to meet again until February, right?
Correct.
Right, because you've got a contest next Saturday.
Correct. Yeah. Okay.
Not next Saturday, but the week after. Yeah.
My name's Stuart. I'm the president of the hacking club here. Some of you guys know me. But basically, we meet on Saturdays, and we do like demos and walkthroughs of certain projects, and we basically practice for these collegiate cybersecurity competitions. Right now, we're doing the defense one. We're trying to qualify this Saturday for it. Last semester, we did CPTC, which is the collegiate pen testing competition, and we got second in the West, and we flew to Rochester, New York, and participated in the national one, and did, I think, pretty well in that. But the point is, we meet on Saturdays at noon for now, for an hour, and then yeah.
In Science 37, maybe. That's where we met this time. Either there or 214.
I've been telling everyone 214.
214,
so
okay.
214.
Go to 214.
That's 214.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions, I'll pass around, or maybe just on that paper, they can write down their emails, so I'll just sign them up real quick.
Yeah.
Just on that.
If you want to.
If you're not already on the Slack, we use Slack to communicate. That's the main kind of thing that we do. We share interesting meetups. We go to Bay Area meetups together. We went to DEF CON together, some of us. So we do a lot of really fun extracurricular stuff.
A bunch of them went to DEF CON, and they helped my students, because I taught a hands-on workshop at DEF CON and B-Subs, and they were helping the students do it, which was very useful and a really good way for you to meet people and get exposure.
Yeah. So if you're interested, if you put your email address on that piece of paper in all caps, in legible handwriting, I will add you to the Slack. You'll get an invite on your CCSF email, and then you can participate, etc.
Good. Any questions about anything? Well, okay, I'm just going to let people fill that out, and I'll get the ad codes up here. I'm going to stop the streaming, and after I get cleaned up here, I'll get over to the lab there. I'll probably get there about 7, Science 214, and I'll be there till 9 anyway to help anybody who wants help. Yeah.
I was just curious. This class, are we going to talk about the websites, saying things like configuration, firewalls,
probably not in a way of specific lessons or anything. There are challenges about things like there might be some challenges about firewalls, but not much in this class. That is something that happens in CCVC, but that's not our main focus this semester. Maybe later, but not right away. However, we did get the free Palo Alto training, and I can get you the code for that.
Okay.
Online training. Yeah.
Is there any likelihood that the malware exploit Saturday class will actually become an official class this semester? Or is it
yes, people would ask me about that. I'm teaching a class on Saturday in exploit development, and right now it is a pirate class not approved by the administration. Just today, I was told yes, and then I was told no, and then I was told maybe. So they have no idea. It is passing through layers of ponderous bureaucracy where people make up strange rules. From past experience, I expect them not to approve it. Usually everything important around here just gets thrown on the floor. But it is remotely possible that they will eventually decide to make it an official class. If they do not, you can earn your grade this semester and sign up next semester to collect your credits. It is still possible for next 2 weeks that they could make it an official class, and there'd still be time for students to add. So it is possible that later this week or next week it will become an official class, but I certainly don't expect it.
the advisory for CS1A as an advisory prerequisite? Is that pretty strong prerequisite?
No, and that's a very good question. You're asking whether you need to know C. If you do know assembler and C, you'll get a lot more out of it. But if you don't know any assembler and or C, I will cover it, and you can do the basics. So I mean, it's I know they used to have a student peer advising here, And they told people not just the official prerequisites, but what you probably would really like to take. And they said, before you take 123, it'd be good if you took Unix. And so they said, before you take this, you really should take assembler. But you don't need it to pass. You'd get more out of it if you knew more assembler. So if you've never used C, we'll cover it. It'd be nice if you know what a compiler is. But if you haven't seen it, you'll see it now. You start with this semi-readable C code. You compile it. It turns into this machine language, which you see in assembly form. And then you see the consequences in RAM in a debugger. And we're going to spend the whole semester in a debugger looking at the RAM in hexadecimal. That's how you make these exploits. And you get used to it. If you've never done it, at first it's very disorienting and confusing, and you just get used to it. And if it's the first time you see it, accept that you'll move from no knowledge to like a low level of knowledge. And it's going to be the second or third course you take in this topic that gets you to a high level of knowledge.
So you said C, is it specifically C or is it C++?
Just C. We're not going anywhere near C++. All we're doing is the very simple C. The C++, all that stuff, we don't need that. Although at this level, it's really essentially the same thing. But all the programs we're dealing with are really short and simple because we're focusing on an individual flaw and how to exploit it.
Because I don't even know if they call it teachers C.
No, it is use C++, but they are the same for simple purposes. Yeah, don't worry about it. C++ is fine. Good. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to turn off the Zoom, and then I'll clean up and get up to the lab. And I know I have at least one taker on an ad code, so I'll get those out. Oh, do any of these online people need an ad code? Let me see. There's a chat. Let me see. Oh, someone online needs an ad code. Good. Okay. I'm glad I didn't turn off the share yet. Let me bring up the ad codes. Here they are. Okay. And so this is
Looks like
140. This should be somewhere. Where is 140? Oh, there it is. Good. All right. And so this is Daniel Callahan needs an ad code. Okay, Daniel. Okay, your ad code is 0586. His 0586. Daniel's. All right. And all right. And you want one?
Sure.
What's your name?
Jeff Levine.
Okay, good. I've never seen you on before in
I
my
was
classes, but I
wondering.
didn't remember your name. So 0638.
063.
Yeah. And you need one?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Zekin, that's Z-E.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
0694.
I haven't taken 123. That sounded like maybe.
Have you taken 120?
I did, but it was a while back.
Yeah, well, stick around and see. Try doing the Pico CTF and see what happens. You can do it tonight, in fact.
Okay.
If none of them are easy, then you should probably
Because
wait.
I wasn't, I mean, I know about SQL injection, but I'm not used to any
Well, that's the point. If you,
nomenclature, I guess.
well, that's